See, maximum people fall prey to Maya, not initial stages. In Bhakti, when we grow in Bhakti, we fall prey to Maya by misunderstanding who is advanced devotee. Who is advanced devotee? To discriminate. If we cannot discriminate by just shedding tears and crying, you know, so we consider him as pure devotee. That is wrong. So, what is spontaneous attraction? It looks like attraction. There are, during Bhaktivinoda Thakur time, a lot of endeavor happened to stop this imitating Sahajas and everybody. You know? So our acharyas have cleared all the paths for us and give us simply the highway path where we have to just walk, just go fast. So Rupa Goswami has cleared what is pure devotional service, what is spontaneous attraction to Krishna, because they don't follow rules and regulations. It is very difficult for us to identify. But when we read Prabhupada, the Rupa Goswami statements, then it is very clear for us who is advanced devotee, who is not advanced devotee. Some may be chanting for, even in ISKCON, many devotees may be chanting from so many years. But how shall we consider them as a devotee? We have to, if somebody is, attracted to sense gratification, then we should not consider him as an advanced devotee. How many years he may be chanting? भोग ऐश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां दया भारत चेतसं व्यवसायात्मका बुद्धि समाधौ न विधीयते. Sense gratification is an eternal enemy for us. So, on the name of spontaneous bhakti, we should not imitate them. No, we should not consider ourselves as advanced. We are Vaidhi Bhaktas. Should be very clear. But to follow somebody who is a very spontaneous devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, the outside Premanand Maharaj, so many people are following them. But their philosophy is very, 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 very important. What do they speak? What is their sadhana? So that matters a lot. If you don't read NOD properly, then we will be misdirected to some other gurus, so-called Babajis. So we have to have very clear. But our greatest devotees are Brajabasis. We cannot even remove that completely. We just want to know only Vaidhi Bhakti. No, we have to know about spontaneous devotees. Who is that spontaneous devotee? So how to understand it? Rupa Goswami is clearly giving with an examples. Whenever we feel doubt about all these things, we should come and go through these statements of Rupa Goswami. So, for example, if a sannyasi or anyone falls down, even in ISKCON, how to see that? No? So, or any, like, it is very difficult for a neophyte who don't read NOD and all this, discriminate devotees. No? So we have to follow Rupa Goswami very clearly. We have to know about gopis also. Gopis are the ultimate pure devotees. And we should know their bhava or their consciousness. So we have to keep our concentration very nicely upon these things. Otherwise, we may be carried away by so many people nowadays on YouTube. Many people are preaching. So try to understand when we have to preach with these things. What is pure devotional service? Paramahamsa, we have to remove all water and we have to take milk. So what is pure devotion? You should take that pure devotion and leave back everything. You know? So we'll see like a 15th chapter we were reading, Prabhupada quotes. We discussed about what is spontaneous attraction and sensual attraction based on sensual attraction and spontaneous relationship with Krishna. So we will go through the quickly 10-15 minutes with an examples. We read these things. Spontaneous dealings of residents of Vrindavan in relationship with Krishna are called Ragatmika. Ragatmika means they are 100% pure devotees. There is not even chance, 1% of chance for anarthas. No anarthas. These beings don't have to learn anything about devotional service. They are already perfect in all regulative principles and have achieved the spontaneous loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ragatmika Bhakta means complete 100% pure devotee. There is no chance like Gopas and Gopis. They never have misunderstanding among themselves. Some people, yesterday Shivratri was there, that many people have understanding that Shiva is great or Vishnu is great. You know? These are those who don't have philosophical understanding. They compare Shiva and everything. But comparison is actually a very offense and should not compare. So, Ragatmika means Gopas, Gopis, and everybody. So they don't have to learn anything. They are 100% pakka trained devotees. They are training everyone. They don't need any training. For example, covered boys who are playing with the Krishna do not have to learn the austerities or penances or yogic practice how to play with him. They have passed all tests or regulatory principles in their previous lives. And as a result, they are now elevated in position of direct association with Krishna as their dear friends. Their spontaneous attitude is called Ragatmika Bhakti. It is very clear. Ragatmika Bhakti means Gopas, Gopis. Spontaneous attraction. You know? So this spontaneous attraction is very, very pure, 100% pure in this. You know? They don't need to learn. They don't have anything lacking. They don't have anything lacking. So they are called Ragatmika Bhakta. And what are Raganuga Bhaktas? So the Rupa Goswami has defined Ragatmika Bhakti as, can somebody read this?
Akshay Prabhu.
Quickly.
Sri Rupa Goswami has defined Ragatmika Bhakti as spontaneous attraction for something while completely absorbed in the thoughts of it, with an intense desire of love. Devotional service executed with such feelings of spontaneous love is called Ragatmika Bhakti. Devotional service under the heading of Ragatmika can be further divided into two categories. One category is called sensual attraction and the other is called relationship.
So this Ragatmika is divided into two types. One is sensual attraction and is relationship. So this we will discuss. But here Ragatmika Bhaktas. There we should know about Gopas, Gopis and everything. Their love. We are devotees, Krishna conscious devotees. Brother Vrindavan Dham is a very important dham for us. Mayapur. So that feelings of attraction to Krishna are very important. How much we love Krishna. I was hearing Madhu Mangal is to love to eat laddus. Right? He's very famous for eating laddus. Why he likes such gopas should not go there? No? He has sense gratification. Actually, Krishna likes to feed more to Madhumanga. They act only for the pleasure of Krishna. They eat laddu. He eats more laddu to please Krishna. If it is not pleasing to Krishna, he will not take. No misunderstanding about pure devotees. Anybody, they are ragatmika bhaktas. Ragatmika, shuddha bhakta. Shuddha bhakta means काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, मद, मत्सर, free, completely free. Anybody who is performing bhakti with these things, they are called Vaidhi Bhakti. Vidhi Bhakti. Under the Guru's guidance, we have to promise, I will follow four regulative principles. In Vrindavan, nobody will promise because they don't have any. So, Ragatmika is divided into sensual and relationship. Attraction to Krishna gives our senses also enjoyment. For example, when Lord Ram is embracing Hanuman, this is so famous photo. How much Hanuman must be feeling happy. Can you imagine? Sita, every day he is embracing Sita. Krishna is embracing every day Radharani. How much they must be happy, feeling happiness. That is sambandha. Sambandha rehna chahiye. That relationship with Guru, Krishna and Vaishnavas are very, very, this is the topmost rasa. So relationship is rasa. That is ragatmika rasa. Not our material relationships can be broken very easily. But spiritual relationships sustains even lives after lives eternally. Okay. Can you somebody read? Narada says.
Akshay Prabhu, continue.
My dear king, there are many devotees who first become attracted to the personality of Godhead for purpose of sense gratification, from being envious of him, out of fear of him, or from desiring to associate affectionately with him. Ultimately, these attractions become freed from all material contamination, and gradually the worshipper develops spiritual love and achieves that ultimate goal of life desired by the pure devotee.
So if somebody is having attraction, even if he has anarthas, one day he will gradually get purified. What is the shloka in Bhagavad Gita? Api chet suduracharo bhajate ma mananyava sadhurev samantavya samyak avastho. If somebody has attraction to Guru, Krishna and Vaishnavas, eventually they will give up all bad habits. And what is a verse? And one more verse. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvai gunis tatra samasate sura harava bhaktasya kuto mahaguna. If somebody is not a devotee, even if he has some good qualities, they are like, somebody very temporarily, like first year boy in the college preaching. First year boy is very, very innocent. Very innocent. But how long he will be innocent? Once he come to second year, third year, final year, no innocence. Their innocence, all good qualities are like that. But devotee who has attraction to Guru Krishna, they are very fortunate. Eventually they will become. So that attraction to Krishna, Vaishnavas and Guru are very, very fortunate people. Fortunate. Even if for sense gratification. The gopis may be considered to be examples of spontaneous love and sensual attraction. because they also get sensual attraction. But you have to see very carefully. Can you read this?
The gopis are young girls and Krishna is a young boy. Superficially, it seems that the gopis are attracted to Krishna on the ground of sex. Similarly, King Kamsa was attracted to Krishna because of fear. Kamsa was always fearful of Krishna because it had been foretold that his sister's son Krishna would kill him. Shishupal was also always envious of Krishna, and the descendants of King Yadu, due to their family relationship with Krishna, were always thinking of him as one of his members. All of these different kinds of devotees have a spontaneous attraction for Krishna in a different categories, and they achieve the same desired goal of life.
So attraction to Krishna is very fortunate, but you have to see attraction to Krishna in the Kamsa way, Ravana way, is not good. That is not considered bhakti. That should be, but gopis' attraction to Krishna are not like Kamsa's attraction. We should differentiate who is attracted to Krishna and what way we have to discriminate. So Kamsa's attraction in fear, Shishupal's in envy are not accepted as a devotional service because they are not favorable. They are not considered as bhakti. That envy is very dangerous for even with Guru, Krishna, and Vaishnavas. All three we can apply. If you envy your superior, you are not really loving. That is not bhakti. You should not envy Guru, Krishna, or Vaishnavas. So, therefore, Rupa Goswami states that according to Rupa Goswami, such attractions are not considered to be in pure devotional service. If it is on the same platform, if it is on the platform of friendship, then it is spontaneous love. But if it is not on the platform of regular friendship, then it is not. Only when affection comes to the platform of spontaneous love is it counted in the category of pure devotional service. Even what we are practicing is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, not pure devotional service. We are not rendering pure devotional service. It should be very clear what kind of bhakti we are practicing. Vaidhi Bhakti, till now we discussed in the till 14 chapters. 15 chapters for this about pure devotees we are telling. So some people will think, Kamsa has also attained same. Shishupal also entered the body of Krishna. Mukti is not one mukti. There are varieties of mukti. 5 types of liberation. Among that, Sashti is very, very dangerous. So merging is very, very dangerous. So Kamsa and Shishupal, envious people, they are different than gopis. So there are destination among that liberation. There are 3 different types, the levels they go: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Paramatma realization, what is Brahman realization and Paramatma realization and Bhagavan realization? And whenever we see liberation means we have to ask, which liberation? Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan? So Kamsa and Shishupal attained to the absolute truth, but they were not allowed to enter into the Goloka Vrindavan abode. Why they were not allowed? Can somebody say? Why Kamsa and Shishupal are not allowed inside?
Because they were envious, Prabhuji.
Because they are envious. If they are envious, why they are not allowed? Those who are envious, they are not like a devotee. When you are cooking, if sabji is burnt, whatever masala you keep, simply waste. You cannot reform that sabji. If you are envying Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas, that means you are gone case. No bhakti. If you are envying someone, any of these three, you are not a devotee or anyone else. So, even if they are in spiritual world, they are kept in Brahma Jyoti. Why they are kept? Why they are not allowed? They are not having bhakti, service attitude. हम भी अगर सेवा भाव नहीं रहेगा, then what kind of devotee we are? Once Radhanath Maharaj was telling, brahmachari who says no to service cannot be a brahmachari. How can we say no to service? So, Hamsa and Shishupal are gone case. They are Brahmajyoti. They are envious to Krishna. Impersonalists and the enemies of Lord are because of attraction to God allowed to enter into the kingdom, but they are not allowed to enter into the Vaikuntha planets or Goloka Vrindavan planets of the Supreme Lord. To enter the kingdom and to enter the king's palace are not the same thing. Rupa Goswami is telling, very good example. See here, to enter inside the kingdom and to enter inside the king's palace are not the same. पूना में आया मतलब ये नहीं कि इस्कॉन टेम्पल में है कहाँ जा रहे पूना में जा रहा पूना में इस्कॉन टेम्पल में आना दैट इज और इस्कॉन टेम्पल में बहुत सारे लोग आउटसाइड विजिटर्स भी आते हैं बट टू बी ए पार्ट ऑफ इस्कॉन कंपनी इज नॉट इजी थिंग So Rupa Goswami is trying to describe the achievements of impersonalists and personalists. Impersonalists are envious to Krishna. That's it. Who are impersonalists? Who are envious to Krishna. Impersonalist. Personalist means what? What is personalist and impersonalist? Personalist means मेरा व्यक्ति है वो. Sometimes once I was talking in Telugu with some devotee, in the voice, one senior came and said, you are an impersonalist. You are trying to speak something which your superior cannot understand in front of you. That is impersonal attitude. Should not talk. No? So that is very dangerous. Impersonalism and personal. Personalism means is always service oriented, always trying to please authorities, please Guru, please Krishna. He is anxious to please. That is called personalist. He is always anxious to serve. Impersonalist, distance, respectful distance. Yeah. So we will see impersonalists are inimical to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Get entrance only into the impersonal Brahman. So okay, impersonalists go to Brahma Jyoti. Why they are not allowed inside? Because they are having envious attitude. They will not be allowed inside the spiritual world. To enter into inside, once one devotee was, Radhesham Prabhu was telling, if you want to go to Vaikuntha, you need 2 more hands. You should be lacking 2 hands, service with 2 hands. You should feel, I need 2 more hands to serve. Then only you can go to Vaikuntha. You cannot go there and eat nicely, sleep nicely, and for your own life. No, we need to serve them. We need to see Krishna is happy or not. So impersonalist means envious, inimical to who is with whom they are envying? Krishna. Impersonalist philosophers are in one sense like enemies of the Lord. Because the out and out enemies of the Lord and the impersonalists are both allowed to enter only in the impersonal effulgence of Brahma Jyoti. अगर कोई आपको आशीर्वाद देगा तो ब्रह्म ज्योति में जाओ, ये श्राप है. Better go to hell than to ब्रह्म ज्योति. साहिज्य मुक्ति कभी प्राप्त नहीं करना है. साहिज्य मुक्ति इज द वेरी डेंजरस फॉर वैष्णवास. साहिज्य मुक्ति सुन के ही ये होना चाहिए. Should be it is very dangerous. They are envious people. They want to be on equal platform to Krishna. Both impersonalists and enemies, both are allowed to enter in. Two kinds of people go inside the Brahma Jyoti. Shishupal did not go to serve Krishna. Kamsa did not go to spiritual world to serve Krishna. Okay? So impersonalists and envious people go to Brahma Jyoti. Devotees will never ever try to go to Brahma Jyoti. You know? Rupa Goswami condemns Brahma Jyoti. Actually, the impersonalists are enemies of the law and God because they cannot tolerate the. Okay, somebody can read this quickly.
Aman Prabhu.
And actually, the impersonalists are enemies of God because they cannot tolerate the unparalleled opulence of the Lord. They try always to place themselves on the same level with the Lord. That is due to their envious attitude. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has proclaimed the impersonalists to be offenders of the Lord. The Lord is so kind, however, that even though they are his enemies, they are still allowed to enter into the spiritual kingdom and remain in the impersonal Brahman Jyoti, the undifferentiated light of the Absolute.
So the Lord is so merciful. He keeps them in Brahma Jyoti, but they are all dangerous fellows, dangerous consciousness. Impersonal is we should not become impersonal in bhakti. So, like, who are impersonalists? Can you give some examples? Who are impersonalists?
Who don't believe in the form of Lord.
Huh?
Who don't believe in the form of Lord. For them, ultimate is Brahman.
They don't like to see the form of Lord. Okay. Mayavadis, they are dead end of envious to Krishna. They tell, I am Krishna. I am only Krishna. So very dangerous, like Vivekananda, many people. Their philosophy is very dangerous philosophy. They use Rama and Krishna word, but they never glorify Rama and Krishna. They glorify themselves. Even Christians, Muslims, if you see, they are impersonal. They don't like to serve Krishna. They want to always taking from Krishna. Oh God, give us our daily bread. Why? Prabhupada always smashes that even if you don't ask, Prabhupada, Lord will give you. Even envious people, even atheistic people will get daily bread. Why he will not give to devotees? We don't need to ask. Okay? So Christians, Muslims, they don't follow rules in any way. Sense gratification is their peak. They use God for their enjoyment. But devotees means who has service attitude. Service attitude is our life in bhakti. Okay? So without service attitude, we are impersonalists. Whoever don't have service attitude, they are impersonalists. Simple. Impersonalist also has a philosophy. Why God needs your help? God can eat fire also. Such kind of philosophies are impersonalistic. Without devotion, Lord will not take anything. So we have to be very careful. Okay. Can somebody read this?
Aman Prabhu, continue.
Yes, sir. Sometimes an impersonalist may gradually elevate himself to the personal conception of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita confirms this. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me. By such surrender, an impersonalist can be elevated to the Vaikuntha Loka, spiritual planet, where, as a surrendered soul, he attains bodily features like those of the Lord.
Why the bodily features like Lord? Why? Huh? Because if somebody loves someone, even bodily features also comes like that. आप देखोगे माता किसी का बच्चे का चेहरा देखेगा तो है ना, if you see the face of the boy will match either father, mother or grandfather, grandmother. Those who are pure, those who are like prostitute, I don't know, there's some matches with someone else. If somebody loves Krishna, even he attains the bodily features also like that. But there is difference. So because the pure devotees have developed their spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality, they are allowed to enter into the spiritual planets to enjoy spiritual bliss in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even in voice or anywhere, if you see, if somebody don't have service attitude, they are just for their own maintenance, their own things. They don't have service attitude. Oh, ज़्यादा सेवा नहीं दो, मत दो प्रभु. हाँ? ज़्यादा सेवा देने से डर जाते हैं लोग. अरे भैया इधर जाओगे तो बहुत सेवा मिल जाएगा. अरे जी सेवा करने के लिए आया. As per our desire, Krishna places in that. Okay. Can somebody read this? Vedas personified. Address the Lord.
Anil Prabhu.
Quicker.
Anil is not there. Aradhan Prabhu.
Yes, sure. Shantanu.
You can speak, Prabhu.
Quick, huh?
Okay. So should I start? Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu. Go ahead.
So Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedas personified, address the Lord in this way: My dear Lord, yogis meditate on your localized feature and they achieve the spiritual perfection of being merged in the impersonal Brahman Jyoti. Person who treat you as an enemy achieve the same perfection without meditating. The gopis who are embraced by your serpentine arms and who have such lusty attitudes also achieve the same perfection. And as far as we are concerned, being different demigods in charge of the different parts of Vedic knowledge, we are always following in the footsteps of the gopis. Thus, we hope to attain the same perfection.
So everybody is aspiring to be like gopis. The Vedas personified are aspiring to be like gopis. See, Vedas glorify even Hebe asked Gushu Tribhuvan. So, who has such attraction will be glorified all over the three worlds. No? But there's a same perfection, we must always remember the examples of sun and sunshine. Those who are impersonalists can merge into the sunshine like Brahmajyoti, whereas who are in love with Supreme Person enter into the Goloka Vrindavan. Now we'll see what is that kama, lusty desire that we have already discussed this. We are just going to read them quickly. One has to.
The lusty attitude of the gopis does not refer to any sort of sex indulgence. Srila Rupa Goswami explains that this lusty desire refers to the devotee's particular attitude of association with Krishna. Every devotee in his perfectional stage has a spontaneous attraction to the Lord. This attraction is sometimes called the lusty desire of the devotee. The lust is the devotee's excessive desire to serve the Lord in a particular capacity. Such a desire may seem to be a desire for enjoying the Lord, but actually, the endeavor is to serve the Lord in that capacity. For example, a devotee may be desiring to associate with the personality of Godhead as his coward friend. He will want to serve the Lord by assisting him in controlling the cows in the pasturing grounds. This may appear to be a desire to enjoy the company of the Lord, but actually it is spontaneous love serving him by assisting in managing the transcendental cows.
A servant cannot become master. He should always try to assist. We are all trying to assist Krishna in different capacities of Dasyaras. Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Madhurya means Krishna. They give highest pleasure to Krishna. But why this lust word, kama, why here word lust? Because now you have to explain as per their capacity. Nowadays they want to see, they know what is lust, but they don't know what is love. So Shastras also explain like lust, lusty desire. Gopis love is like lusty desire, like boys and girls we see in this material world. But they are not exactly like a lusty. No? So we will see sensual attraction and relationship. This extreme desire to serve the Lord and manifest in the transcendental land of Vraja and is specifically manifested among gopis. The gopis' love for Krishna is elevated in that one. For our understanding, it is sometimes explained as lusty desire. For our understanding, for material world, they describe it as calm, but not it is not actually calm. No, we saw. No. Okay, can somebody read this quickly?
Continue another, Radhan bro.
The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Krishnadas, has explained the distinction between lusty desire and the service attitude in this statement. Lusty desire refers to the desire to gratify one's personal senses, and transcendental desire refers to the desire for serving the senses of the Lord. In the material world, there is no such thing as lovers wanting to please the senses of his beloved. Actually, in material world, everyone wants mainly to gratify his own personal senses. The gopis, however, wanted nothing at all but to gratify the senses of the Lord, and there is no instance of this in the material world. Therefore, the gopis' ecstatic love for Krishna is sometimes described by the scholar as being like the lusty desire of material world. But actually, this should not be taken as literal fact. It is simply a way of trying to understand the transcendental situation.
So
Great.
Gopi's love is like a boyfriend and girlfriend, but they are not like that. Exactly not like that. Here, what is the difference between this boyfriend, girlfriend and their boyfriend and girlfriend? Here, everybody wanting to please their own senses, but gopis, they never think to gratify their senses. They are always wanting to serve Krishna. Okay, read.
Great devotees up to the standard of Uddhava are very dear friends of the Lord, and they desire to follow in the footsteps of the gopis. So the gopis' love for Krishna is certainly not material lusty desire. Otherwise, how could Uddhava aspire to follow in their footsteps? Another instance is Lord Chaitanya himself. After accepting the sannyas order of life, he was very, very strict about avoiding association with women. But still, he taught that there is no better method of worshipping Krishna than that conceived by the gopis. Thus, the gopis' method of worshipping the Lord, as if impelled by lusty desire, was praised very highly even by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This very fact means that although the attraction of the gopis for Krishna appears to be lusty, it is not in the least bit material. Unless one is fully situated in the transcendental position, the relationship of the gopis with Krishna is very difficult to understand. But because it appears to be just like ordinary dealings of young boys and girls, it is sometimes misinterpreted to be like that, like ordinary sex of this material world. Unfortunately, persons who cannot understand the transcendental nature of the loving service of the gopis and Krishna take it for granted that Krishna's loving affairs with the gopis are mundane transactions, and therefore they sometimes indulge in painting luscious pictures in some modernistic style.
So some people keeps Radha Krishna with the lusty, you know, because their consciousness is affected, but not Krishna and Radha are not like that. Okay. This Kama Praya, this if you see anybody who has attraction to Krishna is not a pure devotee. But here, actually, lusty desire of Kubja is described by learned scholars being almost lusty desire. Kama Praya, we discussed. Kubja was hunchbacked woman who also wanted Krishna with a great ecstatic love, but her desire for Krishna was almost mundane. So her love cannot be compared to the love of gopis. Her loving affection for Krishna is called Kama Praya, or almost like gopis' love for Krishna. It is not like they can come. Kubja is not equivalent to gopis. So this we have concluded. Any doubts regarding 15th chapter? Okay, we'll continue with 16th chapter, further explained. And same, this spontaneous devotion further described. We are now understanding Ragatmika Bhakti in relationship. Sensual attraction we have seen. Now we'll see Ragatmika Bhakti in relationship, second part of Ragatmika Bhakti. So here attitude and service attitude बोलते हैं ना हम, service attitude, सेवा करने की attitude होती है. So in the attitude of denizens of Vrindavan, such Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, is to be found to be ideal transcendental concept of being father and mother, original personality of God. Prabhupada always tells in lecture that one should aspire to become father and mother of Krishna than to become son of Krishna. Which is best? To become son of Krishna or to become father of Krishna? Which one is better? To become father of Krishna or to become son of Krishna? Radha Krishna.
Father of Krishna.
Father of Krishna. Why?
Because it is like Krishna will become depend on oneself and one get opportunity to serve Krishna more and more. Becoming son means always asking from father, give me this, give me that.
Son always demands, I want this, I want that, and father works very hard for the son. Son takes all property of his father. And but when we become father, we always try to serve this Krishna. Giving service is very important. Like Prabhupada gives one example of a Bhima also. Bhima is voracious eater because he gives service also like that. Not just eating voraciously and sleeping nicely. He's not a devotee. Should give service to Krishna. We have become brahmacharis and become devotees to give service to Krishna. Actually, you can read this.
Uh, Darshan Prabhu.
Yes, sir. Actually, no one can become the father or mother of Krishna, but a devotee's possession of such transcendental feelings is called law of Krishna in the parental relationship. The Vrishnis, Krishna's relatives at Dwarka, also felt like that. So, spontaneous love of Krishna in the parental relationship is found both among those denizens of Dwarka who belong to the dynasty of Vrishni and among the inhabitants of Vrindavan.
So here Vrishnis are also feeling like Krishna's relatives of Dwarka. You see, if when Krishna becomes one of your relative, how nice it will become. It becomes even more thick relation. We will have good relation, sambandha. So they naturally love Krishna also. And they have sambandha also. But gopis, whether they have sambandha or not, but they love Krishna so much. But they are Vrajavasis. So the spontaneous love of Krishna in parental relationship is found both among the denizens of Dwarka and the dynasty of Vrishni and the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So this spontaneous love of Krishna as exhibited by Vrishnis and denizens of Vrindavan is eternally existing in them. Eternal. Anything which is temporary loving affection or love should not be temporary. Why we condemn this material relationship like father, mother, or anyone? Because that is material relationship. Material affection will not last for a long time. But affection for Krishna, Guru, and Vaishnavas are eternal. They are eternally loving Krishna like that. It's not like for some period they will love. You cannot love your parents also and Krishna also simultaneously. You cannot love your parents with equal to Krishna. We have to love Krishna. This spontaneous devotees, Vrishnis, they are having sambandha also, they love Krishna. So that is called eternal love. In the stage of devotional service where regulative principles are followed, there is no necessity of discussing this love, for it must develop it of itself at more advanced stage. Love will establish at more advanced stage, not in Vaidhi Bhakti. So what is the eligibility? Can somebody read?
Yeah. Persons desiring to follow in the footsteps of such eternal devotees of the Lord as the Vrishnis and Vrindavan denizens are called Raga Anuga devotees, which means they are trying to attain to the perfection of those devotees. These Raganuga devotees do not follow the regulative principles of devotional service very strictly, but by spontaneous nature, they become attracted to some of the eternal devotees, such as Nanda or Yashoda, and they try to follow in their footsteps spontaneously. There is a gradual development on the ambition to become like a pure particular devotee, and this activity is called Raganuga.
If somebody would like to serve Krishna in the capacity, they aspire to be served them, to assist Nanda, Yashoda. Like Yashoda always like to serve Krishna, cooking for Krishna, arranging bed and everything. And if he is in that aspiring, then he will also cook so much. Krishna here also would like to assist. जन्माष्टमी के दिन कितना सेवा करते हैं लोग, है ना? That we also would like to sometimes, but real Raganuga devotee, we are not Raganuga devotees. It is not applicable to us. You know? Raganuga devotees do not follow the regulative principles of devotional service very strictly. You cannot tell Prabhupada, will you chant, are you chanting 64 rounds daily? Cannot ask. This is not applicable for Raganuga and Ragatmika devotees. Sometimes they may not take bath also. They may not, they may eat in the same plate of Krishna also. Once Prabhupada, directly took from the plate of Krishna Balram. Prabhupada, this is Krishna Balram's plate. So they don't follow regulative principles of devotional service very strictly. But by spontaneous nature, they become attracted to some of the eternal devotees. One should not imitate them. So, Sambandha, you are seeing here the Ragatmika Bhakti in relationship. You are seeing. A relationship with some pure devotee, one pure devotee will attract him like anything, and he follows him. No? So, we must always remember, however, that such eagerness to follow in the footsteps of denizens of Vrindavan is not possible unless one is freed from material contamination. Anybody has Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mada, Matsar, then he cannot be under Raganuga Bhakti. You should be free from all this. Okay, read this.
In following the regulative principles of devotional service, there is a stage called Anartha Nivritti, which means the disappearance of all material contamination. Sometimes someone is found imitating such devotional love, but factually he is not freed from anarthas or unwanted habits. It has been seen that a so-called devotee proclaims himself a follower of Nanda, Yashoda, or the gopis, while at the same time his abominable attraction for mundane sex life is visible. Such a manifestation of divine love is mere imitation and has no value. When one is actually spontaneously attracted to the loving principles of the gopis, there will be uh, found no trace of any mundane contaminations in his character.
If somebody says I am trying to follow Nanda and Yashoda, but he is having still Kama, then how can he be Raganuga? Blindly we can say, somebody is breaking 4 eggs, means he cannot be devotee. It's a simply waste of time by following such people. If somebody has attraction to kama, then he should not be considered as a leader or a type of devotee. So one should always say, Raganuga devotee cannot have any kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsar. Therefore, okay, somebody read this quickly.
Shall I continue?
Read it. Here, therefore, in the beginning.
Therefore, in the beginning, everyone should strictly follow the regulative principles in devotional service, according to the injunctions of the scriptures and the spiritual master. Only after the stage of liberation from material contamination can one actually aspire to follow in the footsteps of the devotees in Vrindavan.
In the beginning means what? In the beginning. Later on, it should become automatic. ऐसा नहीं कि बाद थोड़ा एडवांस होने के बाद भी compromise. So not only in the beginning, till the end, we should follow the regulative principles. That becomes automatic. Here Rupa Goswami is telling. Okay. Can somebody read this quickly? Rupa Goswami, what he's saying.
It is said by Sri Rupa Goswami, when one is actually liberated from material contamination, he can always remember an eternal devotee in Vrindavan in order to love Krishna in the same capacity. And developing such an aptitude, one will always live in Vrindavan, even within his mind. The purport is that
Somebody who has that attraction to Brajavasis, or like they will constantly think about them. That they are living in Vrindavan in the mind. Even in the mind, if somebody is attracted, it's fortunate. You read this blue part.
the purport is that if it is possible, one should go and physically be present at Vrajabhumi, Vrindavan, and be engaged always in the service of the Lord, following the devotees in Vrajadham, the spiritual realm of Vraj. If it is not possible, however, to be physically present in Vrindavan, one can meditate anywhere upon living in that situation. Wherever he may be, one must always think about life in Vrajadham and about following in the footsteps of the particular devotee in the service of the Lord.
When you have to meditate, when you have to go physically. Can you tell some example? First priority to go physical. And second, if Guru is giving us some service, where we have to stay away from Vrindavan or then because Guru has given that service, so we have to at least meditate. So that is very, very important. Okay. And a devotee who is actually advanced in Krishna consciousness, who is constantly engaged in devotional service, should not manifest himself even though he has attained perfection. So one should not pose himself, even though he is advanced devotee, one should not tell I am advanced devotee. Even Raganuga devotee should not tell that. Okay. These two, can somebody read quickly? Why we should not tell?
Asim Prabhu.
Yes. The idea is that he should always continue to act as a neophyte devotee as long as his material body is there. Activities in devotional service under regulative principles must be followed even by the pure devotee. But when he realizes his actual position in relationship with the Lord, he can, along with the discharging of regulative service, think within himself of the Lord under the guidance of a particular associate of the Lord and develop his transcendental sentiments in following that associate.
There is no stage where we can break the regulative principles. Once we start our bhakti, there is no stage we can break for regulative principles, or where we can become envious. No stage. We should always have a servant mode. One should never be equal to the master. One should always become a servant. In this connection, Srila Rupa Goswami tells very strict. Read.
In this connection, we should be careful about the so-called Siddha Pranali. The Siddha Pranali process is followed by a class of men who are not very authorized and who have manufactured their own way of devotional service. They imagine that they have become associates of the Lord simply by thinking of themselves like that. This external behavior is not at all according to the regulative principles. The so-called Siddha Pranali process is followed by the Prakrit Sahajiya, a pseudo-product of so-called Vaishnavas. In the opinion of Rupa Goswami, such activities are simply disturbances to the standard way of devotional service.
We cannot proclaim that I am following. I know what is my Siddha Pranali. This Siddha Pranali is very dangerous. So they imitate pure devotees, but they don't follow regulative principles. There's so many Kali Yuga, we have so many, and they have more followers for such people. Very, very dangerous. This external behavior is not at all according to the regulative principles. No? In Vrindavan, you see, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is to tell Radha Kund as Narak Kund. Why? Some Babajis, they go there and keep some widows as their assistants and have some sexual affairs. There are so many temples. Brahmacharis have illegal affair with some Matajis. Such kind of brahmachari is not useful at all. There is no use of acting. Should surrender to Krishna, should tell the truth. So, these are very dangerous people and simply a disturbance. Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, Aikantike, Harir Bhakti, Utpataiva Kalpate. It's simply a disturbance. Such people are disturbance in the path of bhakti. No sense gratification is allowed. Bhagavad Gita is meant to slap sense gratification. So, sense gratification is not allowed. Only to please Guru, Krishna and Vaishnavas. How big we may be. One should never think I am big. I am just a servant, my master. Rupa Goswami says that the learned acharyas recommend that we follow the regulative principles even after the development of spontaneous love for Krishna. Even if we become purest of pure devotees, even though that stage also we should follow regulative principles mentioned in the Shastras. 4 regulative principles, हमेशा के लिए follow करना है, हमेशा के लिए. There is no stage, मैं इतना साल हो गया, उतना साल हो गया, मैं 4 नियम पालन करने की जरूरत नहीं. नहीं. Whoever breaks 4 regs is not a pure devotee. And whoever tries to envy their superiors, they are not at all practicing bhakti. It's simply waste of time. Only the time will reveal what is there inside. No? So, according to regulatory principles, there are 9 departmental activities described above. One should specifically engage himself in type of devotional service for which he has natural aptitude. For example, one person may have particular interest in hearing, another particular interest in chanting, another may have particular interest in serving the temple. So these or any of these 6 different types of devotional service, remembering, serving, praying, engaging in particular service, being in a friendly relationship, or offering everything in one's possession, should be executed in full eagerness. Should do all this. 9 pros: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, Itim Pumsarpita Vishnu. This means the offering which we are giving. Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhaktische Navalakshana. So one should do all these things with full eagerness. In this way, everyone should act according to his particular taste. So in conjugal love, so in relationship we saw relationship है मतलब ये नहीं कि मैं कोई लोग बोलता है मेरा गुरु महाराज जो है मैं हमारा रिलेटिव है संबंध है कुछ है तो इट्स नॉट मेंट फॉर ब्रेकिंग 4 legs. Conjugal love. Devotional service following in the footsteps of gopis of Vrindavan or the queens of Dwarka is called devotional service in conjugal love. सिर्फ नाम के लिए बोलेंगे और खुद खाते बैठेंगे ऐसा नहीं होना है. Raghavanaga devotee always like to serve service. This devotional service in conjugal love can be divided into 2 categories. One is in indirect conjugal love, other is direct. In both of these categories, one has to follow the particular gopi who is engaged in such service in Golok of Vrindavan. Like you see Rupa Goswami Prabhu in our temple. Service serves nicely. Deity worship never fails. No reason for not serving or anything. So you should have such taste. To be directly attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the conjugal love is technically called Keli. This Keli is a performance means to directly join with the personality of Godhead. There are other devotees who do not wish direct contact with the Supreme Person but who relish conjugal loving affairs of the Lord with the gopis. Such devotees enjoy simply by hearing of the activities of the Lord with gopis. Now, Keli, those who directly want to partake with the pastimes of Krishna. Somebody who just hears pastimes from gopis. This development of conjugal love can be possible only with those who are already engaged in the following regulatory principles of devotional service, specifically in worshipping of Radha and Krishna in the temple. Such devotees gradually develop spontaneous love for the deity. By hearing of Lord's exchange loving affairs with gopis, they gradually become attracted to these pastimes. This spontaneous attraction becomes highly developed and devotees placed in either of the above mentioned categories. Yeah? So, to follow such devotees is very, very highly advanced. This is called conjugal love in relationship. We are discussing. Anybody has doubt? Now 8:15. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue here. This is very high level topic, which I am not qualified to teach. But whatever Rupa Goswami has mentioned and Prabhupada is teaching. I'm just giving examples for those things. Okay. Please pray for me also to attain such bhakti, such a devotional attitude, eternal, not to have impersonalistic mentalities. Okay. Hare Krishna. So we'll end here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you very much, Sriji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.